Did you know there are about 100 trillion microbial cells in our guts? Welcome to the fascinating world of cell biology. Today, we'll explore everything from how cells originated and how they're structured, to what they do and how they reproduce. Basically, we're looking at the building blocks of all life. The origin of cell, from non-living matter to complex life. Life as we know it started billions of years ago, but it didn't happen all at once. After the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago, the universe was a hot, dense soup of simple elements, mainly hydrogen and helium. These elements clumped together to form stars. And in the intense heat and pressure inside those stars, heavier elements like carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and iron were created. When some stars exploded in supernovae, they spread these elements across the universe. Some of these elements landed on Earth where there were ancient oceans and lagoons. With energy resources from things like lightning, volcanic activities and UV lights, these molecules react, creating more complex substances such as amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, nucleotides, which make up DNA and RNA, and fatty acids that make lipids. But how did these simple molecules turn into life? One of the most crucial steps was the formation of lipids, which are fat-like molecules. When lipids form, they naturally create membranes in water. These membranes act like tiny bubbles, and inside them, they can trap other molecules. Over time, these membranes surrounded essential molecules like proteins and nucleic acids, DNA and RNA, creating what some scientists call protocells, the primitive versions of what would become true cells. Inside these protocells, the chemistry of life could start evolving. Over billions of years, these simple protocells evolved into more complex structures, eventually becoming prokaryotic cells, cells without a nucleus, like bacteria. But how did these prokaryotic cells evolve into the more advanced eukaryotic cells, cells with a nucleus, which make up plants, animals, and fungi? One of the most exciting theories is endosymbiosis. According to this theory, larger prokaryotic cells began to engulf smaller ones. Instead of digesting them, the larger cells formed a symbiotic relationship with the smaller cells, meaning both benefited from the partnership. Over time, these undigested cells became organelles, specialized structures within the larger cell. This partnership drove the evolution of more complex life forms, as these newly formed eukaryotic cells could perform advanced functions that their simpler ancestors could not. Before we dive into what's inside the cell, let's take a moment to understand cell membranes and its function. The cell membrane is made up of two layers of lipids with some cholesterol to keep it flexible. This membrane is full of gatekeepers called receptors that control what goes in and out, like sodium, potassium, glucose, and CO2. For example, medications like Prozac interact with these receptors to maintain serotonin level high, while beta blockers block the effects of adrenaline on heart cells, lowering heart rate. Another example is insulin receptors, which regulate glucose entry into the cell for energy and send signals that alter metabolism and mediate hormone action. In people with diabetes type 2, this receptor doesn't function properly, so glucose stays in the bloodstream. If left untreated, this can lead to damage in the kidneys, eyes, and both the central and peripheral nervous systems. Another big job of the cell membrane is keeping the cell fed and healthy and running smoothly through a couple of clever methods. 1. Passive transport. This is the easy way. Stuff moves in and out of the cell without using energy, like diffusion, for small molecules, or facilitated diffusion, which needs a little help from proteins. 2. Active transport. This one needs energy, ATP, to push molecules against the flow, kind of like swimming upstream. 3. Endocytosis. The cell basically eats large particles or liquids by wrapping them up in its membrane. 4. Exocytosis. The reverse of endocytosis. The cell gets rid of waste or releases important stuff by packaging it in vesicles that merge with the membrane and push it out. To sum it up, the cell membrane is essential for keeping the cell intact and maintaining balance, a process called homeostasis. It controls what goes in and out of the cell, making sure there's the right balance of nutrients, ions, and waste. Now, think of our tiny cell as a mini factory with a secure fence, where every part has a specific job to keep things running smoothly. Here's a breakdown of the key parts. 1. Nucleus. The nucleus acts as the control center of the cell, housing all the genetic information, DNA. It directs the cell's activities, including growth, reproduction, and protein production, by regulating gene expression. DNA replication occurs here, ensuring that genetic material is passed on accurately during cell division. 2. Mitochondria. Known as the powerhouses of the cell, mitochondria convert glucose and oxygen into ATP, the cell's main energy currency. They have their own DNA, which plays a role in energy production and can mutate, sometimes leading to diseases. Mitochondria evolved through endosymbiosis, where an ancient cell engulfed a smaller organism that became the mitochondria we see today. 3. Ribosomes. Ribosomes are small, protein-producing factories in the cell. They read genetic instructions from RNA and assemble amino acids into proteins, which are essential for the cell's growth, repair, and overall function. 4. Endoplasmic reticulum, ER. The ER functions like a cellular assembly line. It comes in two forms. Rough ER, studded with ribosomes, it assists in protein synthesis. Smooth ER, lacks ribosomes and is involved in lipid production and detoxification processes. 5. Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus acts as the cell shipping and packaging center. It modifies, sorts, and packages proteins and lipids for transport to their final destinations, either inside or outside the cell. 6. Lysosomes. Lysosomes are the recycling centers of the cell. They contain enzymes that break down waste materials, old organelles, and foreign substances, keeping the cell clean and efficient. 7. Cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton is the structural framework of the cell, made up of microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. It gives the cell its shape, supports its structure, and aids in movement and internal transport of materials. 8. Cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the jelly-like substance that fills the cell. It provides a medium in which organelles are suspended, allowing movement of materials, and is the site of many important chemical reactions necessary for the cell's survival. Chloroplasts, found in plant cells only. Chloroplasts are the solar panels of the cell, converting sunlight into energy through photosynthesis. They transform carbon dioxide and water into glucose, a source of energy, and produce oxygen as a byproduct. Chloroplasts playing a crucial role in sustaining life on Earth. Alright, let's wrap things up with a quick cell functions overview. Energy production. Mitochondria are the powerhouses, converting nutrients into ATP, usable energy, through cellular respiration. Protein synthesis. Ribosomes, along with the rough ER, work together to build proteins that the cell needs for growth, repair, and functioning. Maintenance and cleanliness. Lysosomes act like the cell's recycling crew, breaking down waste and keeping everything efficient. Transport. The Golgi apparatus and cytoskeleton handle the packaging and transportation of proteins while maintaining the cell structure. Photosynthesis. In plant cells, chloroplasts harness sunlight to produce glucose for energy and release oxygen, something we still benefit from today. Thanks for sticking with me through this journey into cell biology. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your feedback is really important, so let me know how I can improve my upcoming videos on evolution, genetic diseases, bioinformatics, microbiology, and flaws in human anatomy. It helps the channel grow, and you'll stay updated with all my latest content. See you in the next video.